Hey YouTube, Pete the Norfolk Chili Head. This is my review of the Korg Monotron Duo. This is an absolutely tiny, super cheap, analog ribbon keyboard style synthesizer from Korg. It's the second in their line of 3 Monotron devices. You've got the original Monotron, you've got the delay as well, and of course you've got this one, the Duo. Now it's obviously called the Duo because it has 2 oscillators, which is fantastic for a super cheap little synth like this. It's only going to cost you about 30 quid, which is really super cheap. It's really impossible to get analog gear for such an astonishing price. There are pros and cons with this, of course. You know, being priced at about £30 or possibly even less from some places if you're lucky. There are going to be pros and cons with this, so I will be going through those as I go through the review. But first of all, let's take a quick look at the device itself. It's a plastic exterior with lots of, 5 plastic little pots on it. One of them, which has is see-through, it's kind of got a little light underneath it, which flashes in time with the tempo. It's relatively light, so you know you can't go expecting really amazingly high quality build on this one because of the price. It's not exactly built like a tank, but like I say, it has its ups and downs, and it's certainly a device that you can get some use out of. It runs on 2 AAA batteries. And it also has its little own external speaker there, so you don't even need any speakers or any mixer or anything to just get started with this, which is really fantastic. So you can do various things with this. I mean, you can use one oscillator on its own. Or you can use the 2 oscillators together. You can play with the filter. You can modulate the intensity with the little yellow pot that you see there. And some peak or resonance, whatever you want to call that there. As you can see, it's got a little ribbon controller down the bottom as well. This again is one of the cons, I would say, with this device. It can be quite difficult to get accurate notes from this, particularly if you're using your fingers. My finger probably covers about 2 of those little keys there, and so you can find that you might get some little bit of wobble between the 2 different notes there. You can of course use a stylus, but again you might still get mixed results with that, depending on how hard you're pressing and how responsive that particular device that you've got is. I don't find that this is really particularly accurate to use, but again, as I keep saying, it's only 30 quid, so you can't expect the world with this. So I think that the Monotron, you know, what you're going to get out of it depends on how much time and effort you really want to put into it. You can get some really interesting sounds and interesting little melodies out of this. You know, it really does depend on how you want to use it. It's really good for more noise-based styles. So you can read into that what you will. You know, if you are the kind of person who is trying to produce a more experimental style of music, then this might be something that you could really look into and actually get some really good use out of. If you're wanting to produce really fantastic leads and really prominent melodies within your productions, then you might struggle with this a little bit more. Having said that, there, if you run it through a delay or some reverb or any other external kind of effects, you might actually find that this does end up sounding pretty damn good. But you can get some really nice effects out of it and really nice tones, and although it is really quite toy-like, it's really great, particularly I think for people who are really starting out on their production journey. It really is a good way of teaching yourself some of the basics of synthesis, how oscillators work and how oscillators work together, how filters work and how filters sound and how they can affect the tone of your music, how to modulate intensity, and just, things like peak and resonance. All of the basics that you get in a lot of analog gear are here in this Monotron. So in that respect, it's a good way of teaching yourself how these controls work and how they affect your sound and what you're trying to achieve. So, like I say, there are a few positives and a few cons with this, but if you're going to only spend 30 quid, then you're not going to break the bank, and it's something that you might find worth getting. It's also hackable. It's easy to get into the back there with the screws. You can mess about with the circuitry inside. So for all of you guys who like to mod your own gear, Korg seem to be really excelling with that at the moment, with the Volca range, the Monotribe and things like that. They're making it really easy for modders to get inside their gear. So if you want to get started with modding and you don't want to risk damaging a more expensive bit of gear, then again, just spending 30 quid on this, if you're trying to mod it and then something goes wrong and you completely wreck your machine, it's not going to be the end of the world with something this cheap. So, like I say, once again, pros and cons with this one. But it's, like I say, a really simple but nice bit of gear. Great for getting started with production and teaching yourself the basics of synthesis. And as I said, you can get some really interesting and quite cool sounds out of this. So it's really worth checking out. So thanks for watching. I've been Pete the Norfolk Chili Head, and I'll see you all once again very soon with another review. Catch you all later.